Jake. In reading about the Dalai Lama, before he dies, he usually gives his Buddhist monks an idea of where and when he will incarnate so they can look for him. Then they have specific but simple tests they use to ensure the young child is in fact the reincarnation of the Dalai Lama. Afterwards, and with parental agreement, the monks take and raise the child as the young Dalai Lama. My understanding is that within Scientology, people believe Hubbard will return. How would they know if he did? I mean, if a young man or woman showed up one day at Big Blue and said they were LRH, how would they know? In all of his writing, did LRH give his Scientology monks an idea of when and where he would incarnate, much like the Dalai Lama? No, not even close. Actually, the expectation within the world of Scientology is that Hubbard's not really coming back, at least not anytime soon. There were no writings or indication in Hubbard's lectures that he was going to be coming back around. There's no tests, there's no setup, there's no password, there's no sign or secret symbol he's supposed to make when he comes back to confirm that it's L. Ron Hubbard. Because in all the writing and all the lectures I ever saw on the topic, Hubbard actually said that he wasn't coming back straight away. There were two places where this is that come to mind right away. One of them, the first one, in terms of date chronology, was 1980. There was this bulletin that Hubbard wrote for the OT8 level, which is contested as to whether it was really Hubbard or not, but I definitely believe that it was. Excuse me, and he said in this bulletin, this is the bulletin on OT8 where he talks about Jesus being a lover of young men or young boys, and where he says he's Lucifer and the light bringer, and this whole rundown. I think I've talked about this before. So check my earlier Q&As for anything on that. But in terms of, Hubbard said specifically in that bulletin that he was going to come back around in his next life as a politician, not as a religious leader, and he wouldn't be therefore connected up with or looking into the church or trying to run the church or getting involved in church activities. And he didn't even say it would be a politician on this planet. So, take whatever you want out of that, but that's what his words were, is he was going to come back as a politician, not a religious leader. However, this is kind of contradicted by another reference, another issue Hubbard wrote in 1983 about the birthday game. And it's called LRH-ED, L. Ron Hubbard Executive Directive 339R for revised. It was revised, but it's number 339. This executive directive is where Hubbard talks about and gives advice for the birthday game. Another subject that I've talked about already on this channel, but it's basically a production game that the organizations play against each other, where they try to get bigger than other organizations. They try to show, relative expansion more than other organizations have expanded, and that's the birthday game. And you're supposed to, that's a point system, and you win. And every year they award, whichever org grew more relative to its, size. So that's the birthday game. Hubbard wrote this issue where he gave all this advice about playing the birthday game. And in that, he said that if you keep playing this game and keep expanding, the orgs are supposed to be these little islands of sanity that are supposed to grow into, oceans and take over their area, and eventually the orgs will meet, as their areas grow, and so they'll have taken over the world. And this is considered Target 1. Earth, planet Earth is Target 1. And Hubbard said in this reference that after we clear this planet, we will go on to Target 2 and clear another one. And so people have gotten from that within the world of Scientology that Hubbard meant that's where he was going when he died, right? As he was going to go off and do this Target 2 and clear some other world, and maybe he would show up there and grow up and become a messiah figure like he did here on Earth, and start Scientology there, because according to L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology, this is the only place in the entire universe where Scientology exists. So if Hubbard, wanted it, but it's within the dogma and the writings of Hubbard that Scientologists are expected to go clear this planet and then go on to other planets and take care of them. So there's that's kind of the mythology and idea about reincarnation and moving on and clearing the rest of the universe within the world of Scientology. It's all pretty vague, but that's kind of what's there. In 1986, when Hubbard died and they did the event where Miscavige and others spoke at the Palladium or whatever theater that was where they were doing that, Miscavige sort of also implied or inferred or said that Hubbard had gone off to do further OT research. And I don't know, he's just pulling that out of his ass, I think. But that was also another official church statement about L. Ron Hubbard and what he was doing. So Miscavige did not say he went off to get another body and he's going to come back here to Earth. He didn't say that. He definitely put out the message that Hubbard was going off to do OT research that required not having a body. Blah, 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 blah. So that's sort of been the official church lines about what Hubbard's doing. So if somebody thought that Hubbard, within the world of Scientology, if somebody thought Hubbard was coming back, they'd actually be in the minority because they wouldn't have any basis to think that he was coming back straight away. All the Scientologists, if they do talk about this, and they do from time to time, they probably think that there's some instructions or something that he left as to, what to do if he does come back. But I've never met or seen or heard anyone come out from international management or from the highest levels of the church and say that they've seen those instructions or heard about those instructions or that there are such instructions. It's all just sort of assumed, And that's kind of the whole of the lore of that I'm aware of that I can tell you about in answering this question.